Welcome to College Briefing. The content of the briefing includes: Spencer Jones hits 8 threes, scores 30 to help Stanford beat Washington 90-80. Fifita, McMillan returning to Arizona under new coach Brent Brennan. How to make sure your children are successful even when they have no natural talent. Williams guides Texas A&M Commerce past SC Louisiana 68-52. Sunday's time schedule. Spencer Jones hits 8 threes, scores 30 to help Stanford beat Washington 90-80. Associated Press. Stanford's Spencer Jones scored a career-high 30 points, including 8 three-pointers, to help the Cardinal beat Washington 90-80. Freshman Kenon Carlisle added 16 points for Stanford. The Cardinal never trailed in the game after Jones hit a three-pointer early on. Washington's Keon Brooks Jr. had 22 points and 11 rebounds in the losing effort. Stanford is now 10-8 on the season, while Washington falls to 11-8. Fifita, McMillan returning to Arizona under new coach Brent Brennan. Associated Press. Arizona football coach Brent Brennan has received a boost for next season with quarterback Noah Fifita and receiver Teteroa McMillan confirming they will stay with the team. The players made the announcement during a timeout in a game between the Wildcats and UCLA, saying they have unfinished business and are running it back for another season. Fifita threw for 2,869 yards and 25 touchdowns, while McMillan led Arizona with 90 catches for 1,402 yards and 10 touchdowns. Brennan was recently hired as the team's new head coach. How to make sure your children are successful even when they have no natural talent. Telegraph. Psychologist Adam Grant is on a mission to prove that success is not solely reliant on natural talent but can be achieved by nurturing hidden potential. Grant, a professor of psychology at the University of Pennsylvania, studied 120 high-achieving individuals and found that most had not been identified as having extraordinary potential by their early teachers or parents. Instead, they had worked hard and cared about their success. He argues that many people are late bloomers who can exceed their own and others' expectations. Grant points out that the failure to recognize hidden potential often comes from underestimation and moving on from a task too soon. He advises that parents connect their children with teachers or mentors who believe in their potential and are trusted, rather than those who are trying to manipulate them or live vicariously through them. Early success, Grant suggests, may not be as useful as it appears, as it can lead to a lack of resilience and an inability to reshape ideas. Adaptability and openness to multiple ways of achieving success are more important. Sunday's time schedule. Associated Press. The article provides a schedule of various sports events taking place on January 21st. The events include NFL playoffs, NBA games, NHL games, college basketball games, men's and women's, and golf and tennis tournaments. The schedule includes the teams and times for each event. Will U.S.-Philippine military ties make Manila a Chinese target? South China Morning Post. The U.S. prepositioning military supplies in the Philippines has raised concerns that parts of the country could be targeted by Beijing in a U.S.-China war. The shipment of 147 million liters of U.S. Navy fuel from Pearl Harbor to Subic Bay in the Philippines has been viewed with suspicion by Philippine Senator Amy Marcos, who said it demanded an explanation. Experts have warned that the Philippines, which granted the U.S. troops access to 4 military bases last year, could be targeted by China in the event of a conflict between the U.S. and China in the South China Sea. The move by the U.S. highlights the growing military ties between the two countries. The U.S. Embassy has stated that the shipment was coordinated with Manila and was one of multiple shipments of safe, clean fuel. Education continues for Bulls Patrick Williams. Yahoo! The teaching moments keep coming for Patrick Williams. On the first possession of the Chicago Bulls' blowout victory over the shorthanded Memphis Grizzlies on Saturday, the fourth-year forward passed up an open three-pointer to try to attack the rim. Instead, the defense collapsed, forcing Williams to settle for a mid-range jumper that he missed. Timberlake scores 26 to help Bryant earn 98-89 win over Albany. Associated Press. Bryant University defeated the University of Albany in a basketball game with a final score of 98-89. Earl Timberlake scored 26 points and had 9 rebounds for Bryant. Sharif Gross-Bullock scored 21 points, while Daniel Rivera had 14 points, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, 4 steals, and 5 blocks. Amari Marshall led Albany with 26 points and 5 assists, while Sebastian Thomas added 20 points. New York Meyer Little finished with 12 points and 4 steals for Albany. ASEAN Playbook shows how small states can navigate big power rivalry. South China Morning Post. Southeast Asian nations have successfully navigated the rivalry between the US and China by exercising their agency and adopting a balanced approach. These nations, such as those in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, ASEAN, have positioned themselves as open to collaboration with both Beijing and Washington and have avoided taking sides. They have also sought to diversify strategically by engaging with other major powers and regional bodies. This approach has allowed Southeast Asian nations to maintain their independence and avoid being pulled into the US-China rivalry. CalUS's late regulation rally to earn overtime win over Washington State 81-75. Associated Press. California defeated Washington State 81-75 in overtime, with Jalen Tyson scoring a career-high 30 points for the second time in less than 2 weeks. Fardaws Imac added 18 points for Cal. Andrei Jakimovsky led Washington State with 20 points. Rice's three-pointer at the end of regulation forced overtime. Xenical to Zepbound, how anti-obesity drugs have evolved in 25 years. Yahoo! The Food and Drug Administration, FDA, approval of GLP-1 agonists Wegovy, semaglutide, and Zepbound, tirzepatide, were major moments in recent weight loss drug history, but the medications are not the first to make headlines. In 1999, Xenical, orlistat, a lipase inhibitor, was approved for weight loss. With the 25th anniversary of the drug's approval coming up in April, it's the perfect time to explore how the new generation of weight loss medications compares to older ones and how the weight loss drug market continues to evolve. Obesity, medically defined as having a body mass index greater than 30, is considered a public health emergency, with over 42% of adults in the United States falling into the category and 9%, 1 in 11 people, meeting the criteria for having severe obesity. Even as obesity cases have risen, there hadn't been a major advancement in weight loss medications since Xenical in the late 1990s until recently. It was only last year that a headline-making clinical trial discovery showed that GLP-1 agonists used to treat type 2 diabetes can also be effective at helping people lose weight. Glucose-dependent insulinotropic polypeptide, GIP, and GLP-1 dual-acting medications have completely changed the field in their effectiveness, Colleen Tewksbury, PhD, RDN, a national spokesperson for the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics, told Very Well. Prior to these medications, most anti-obesity medications were modestly effective. So far, the FDA has only approved 3 of these drugs for weight loss, Saxenda, Wegovy, and Zepbound. Other GLP-1 agonists, such as Ozempic and Trulicity, are only FDA approved to treat type 2 diabetes, not weight loss. Man shot by police outside Central Kentucky McDonald's faces attempted murder charges. Yahoo! A man who was shot by police in Anderson County, Kentucky, last month has been discharged from hospital and is now facing multiple charges related to the incident. On 23 December, 24-year-old Dejon Rucker allegedly opened fire on Lawrenceburg Police Department officers David Goodlett and John Miles outside a McDonald's restaurant. Both officers returned fire, hitting Rucker. He was critically injured and taken to hospital. Rucker has now been charged with attempted murder of a police officer, attempted murder, first-degree wanton endangerment of a police officer, wanton endangerment and violation of an emergency protective order. Jenkins scores 20 as UNC Wilmington takes down College of Charleston 78-69. Associated Press. UNC Wilmington defeated College of Charleston 78-69 in a game on Saturday. KJ Jenkins scored 20 points for UNC Wilmington, while Ante Brzovic led College of Charleston with 27 points. 2024 NFL Mock Draft Roundup, where experts currently see Jets going. Yahoo! The New York Jets are projected to select an offensive lineman or skill position player in the 2024 NFL Draft, according to several mock drafts. The Jets hold the number 10 pick and have been linked to several prospects across different positions. The Athletic's Dane Brugler predicted the team would select Penn State offensive tackle Olu Fashanu, highlighting his pro-level pass protection skills. CBS Sports' Ryan Wilson projected that the Jets would select LSU wide receiver Malik Neighbors, describing him as a WR 1.5 who will complement Garrett Wilson in New York. Sporting News' Vinny Iyer also linked the Jets to a wide receiver, predicting that they would select Georgia tight end Brock Bowers. Other mock drafts suggested the Jets could select Alabama offensive tackle J.C. Latham, Washington wide receiver Rome Odunze, Oregon State offensive tackle Tayles Fuaga, or Notre Dame offensive tackle Joe Alt. Former Penn State wide receiver enrolls with new school out of transfer portal. Yahoo! Former Penn State wide receiver Dante Cephas has enrolled at Kansas State and will join the football program for the 2024 college football season. Cephas entered the transfer portal following the Peach Bowl after just one season at Penn State. He had 22 receptions for 246 yards and 2 touchdowns in 12 games for the Nittany Lions. Penn State has also added former Ohio State wide receiver Julian Fleming from the transfer portal. Thank you for tuning in. The content above showcases the latest briefing reports and analytical synopses, thoughtfully curated by the 6Do team. These insights stem from a wide array of reputable media outlets, think tanks, government sources, and specialized experts worldwide. We encourage you to explore these sources for a comprehensive perspective. Keep in mind that while the content may not always align with the official standpoint of 6Do Brief, it's not meant to be taken as absolute directives for decision making. Comprising seasoned media professionals, learned scholars, and accomplished scientists, the 6Do team embodies a trailblazing, fully independent media entity. To customize 6Do Brief to meet your professional needs, you have the option to subscribe to a diverse array of briefings on our website, 6dobrief.com. Regardless of your location, you can conveniently receive 6Do Brief via email.